came in with a perfect picture of a solution for the troubles of Kenyans at the grassroots. Much still needs to be done to achieve the fruits of devolution in totality. Review of its progress is necessary, starting from the masses to the leadership. So today, we focus on Kivaa County Assembly Ward, an electoral ward in Masinga constituency, Machakos County. It holds a population of approximately 34,092 and covers an area of approximately 522.50 square kilometers. Today, we take on Justus Kiteng'U, who's the MCA, that is the Member of County Assembly, Kivaa Ward, like I said. This is what we'll be discussing. We're taking a look at the pledges that he made to the people, and we get to ask whether indeed he's been able to achieve a majority of this. If not, then why? Welcome on board this evening. My name is Linda Alela. It's always a pleasure to have you joining us on a Pledge Watch. As we say, Pledge Watch is all about putting Mheshimiwa to task, and that's exactly what we're going to do this particular evening. Important that you interact with us. Hashtag, of course, that is Pledge Watch. Let's get to hear what you have to say about this conversation. If you are watching and you are from Kivaa Ward, this is your time to call in again and also ask Mheshimiwa some of the questions that you have for him in terms of development. So do not hesitate, because it's incumbent upon you to put him to task. Good evening, Mheshimiwa.
Good evening, Linda. How are you doing?
Thank you. Glad that you could join us this evening.
Thank you, Linda.
Mheshimiwa. Yes.
And I appreciate for this invite interview, and I'm ready to take on so that we can discuss more.
Right.
And also make my people of Kivaa Ward and probably Machakos County understand our devolution better.
I believe you have your manifesto at hand, and most importantly, you remember the promises that you made to your people, and that's exactly what we want to know. Have you been able to achieve those? Right now, most of the members of Parliament, members of the County Assembly, governors are complaining that maybe they were not able to achieve some of these things, are not able to realize matters of development, especially right now that we're dealing with COVID-19. But we say no excuses for the same. So I'll come back to this point where, of course, it takes us back to memory lane. Governor Alfred Mutua, at some point in 2015, coming to 2016, accused the then county ward, of course, that is the MCA back then, that is Mr. Alexander Kathinzi, on not working with him closely to the bad, of course, to a point whereby he made development not be felt in Kiva, or there was that bypassing of matters development in Kivaa County, in Kivaa ward. So one would then ask, why is it that the governor would say this? Does it have to be, a situation whereby you're working in tandem, or you are working closely with the governor, so at least people of your ward are able to realize this? And if it is the case, one, I'd want to ask this today. What is the relationship between you and the governor of the county, that is Machakos County?
Linda, thank you so much. And I would like to start with the 2013-2017 term, whereby the member who represented the people of Kiva, I've mentioned him, his name was Alexander Kathinzi, and I can say that he did his part, and I was elected because probably people of Kiva could not believe in his development, noting that, Linda, that the MCA, the roles of MCAs is not to implement development, but we have three roles: oversight and represent, and also legislate. And as a duty of an MCA, I can say that on my part, I've done my best. But on the benefit of the Wananchi, it ought that you have to come together and sit down with the governor, so that, because the governor might not be able to note the development up to the certain village level, you realize that as an MCA, as you oversight, as you represent your people, you must also caution that and notify the governor that I need development of this part of the village, because that is the way of the devolution. Devolution was invented so that the development can go up to grassroots, and that's what exactly I'm doing. I'm sorry, 2013, 2017, that did not happen. And that one I cannot explain why and why it did not happen, because
the reason why
that was a different
Mheshimiwa, the reason why I brought this subject was not to look at what happened in the past, but I was just looking at the timelines and what it is that the governor noted, that you're not working closely with me. That's the reason why we're bypassing Kivaa ward in terms of development. And that's the reason why I asked, so that we get to know, first of all, is this the case still, or you are working in tandem, or we're working closely with the governor? And if you are working closely with the governor, looking at these timelines, it's clear then that so much had not been achieved. Because I look at a scenario where, some people were complaining that they could not even realize the Mulika Mwizis that were across other different wards, yet they had not developed that, or they had not witnessed that, or they had not experienced that at Kivaa ward. And the complaints were, Mr. Governor, do not say that, because you are supposed to ensure that every other ward is represented. But this, again, you bring a pertinent point that, this is incumbent, again, also upon the MCAs to ensure that they are able to, push and front the agendas of their ward to the county government, so at least they are able to feel the developmental activities down there. So the reason why I asked is because of the question of time. It means then that you came into the office, well, while nothing had happened yet, or nothing much in terms of development had been felt at the level of your county. What progress have you brought on board today?
Thank you, Linda. Now I get you. I get your question clearly. I was just trying to clean up the past.
Yes.
But now let's channel on now. I'm now in the office. I can say, Linda, since I got into the office, I've done several, and my manifesto have actually attained almost 45 to 50%. And when I talk of Mulika Mwizi, my ward is over 520 square kilometers. It's a big ward, and it has got 8 sub-locations. It has two locations, and each sub-location end quarter has got enough light in terms of Mulika Mwizi. And starting with Kidioko, Kiva, Miangen, all those 8 of them, we got in Mulika Mwizi. Now we are going to phase 2, whereby we are going to channel on village level, those small markets, whereby again we are going to light. Again, when it comes to water, Linda, we have done several balls. We have one ball at sub-location called Idada. We have Kidioko ball. I'm doing a mega dam somewhere called Miangene. The mega dam actually is worth around 100 million, whereby having in accomplishment it will have the treatment plant with the 50,000 liters water tank storage, and it will feed water entire Miangen sub-location up to the other location of Kiva. So Linda, on time of also building those drifts and grinding of the roads, those projects are going on in my ward, and actually my people can attest to that. And I'm working very closely with Excellency, the Governor of Machakos. When you interviewed me first, you remember I told you that the only way the development can be felt in ward level, in village level, is the MCS to work close with the Governor so that they can be able to attain and implement the budget which is earned yearly.
All right, step by step, like you said, you have gone to that level of, talking about water and roads. Of course, we'll come back to that. But you mentioned that you've done or achieved, approximately 45 to 50%. And I'm looking at the timelines, and you're only left with probably 2020 is almost done, actually. And I know the distractions that come along with COVID-19. So you're only left with about 2021. By the time we're hitting 2022 tops, of course, will be matters, campaigns, and everything. What are the guarantees then that you'll have achieved, 3/4 of what it is that you had promised your people? Because when you're coming on board, presenting your manifesto, you always guaranteeing that 101%, you'll be able to achieve all the promises that you've highlighted. But we're talking about, almost half or past half, and you are at 45-50.
Yeah, thank you, Linda. The problem why I'm saying that we always promise that we will make it 100% of our manifesto. But Linda, you realize down the line, you come up and make sure that you may come across some of the difficulties. For example, we could have implemented the last financial budget, but now the country was stuck by COVID-19, whereby we could not implement all the development. You remember the president directing that now all the money which the counties are allocated for development, now it has to be channeled to fight COVID-19. And looking that, Leader, we don't have any other time remaining. The only budget now I can be able to implement and deliver to the people of Kivaa is only this budget of 2020, 2021. There is no another budget. It's now either I achieve maybe 10% of remaining so that I will have 65%, and you realize that at the end of the day, Linda, that I will not have achieved 100% because of the difficulties and obstacles we experience down the line of my leadership.
Does it mean then, Mheshimiwa, does it mean that, because I get this a lot, and I'd want to ask, does it mean that most of the leaders, especially, of course, the MCAs in this case, get into power, not cognizant of what it is that they should expect in terms of cost? There could be a catastrophe, in terms of, there could be troubles, there could be a pandemic, there could be, ups and downs, there could be difficulties in the budgeting. I mean, when you're making the promises, do you remind yourselves, or do you remind the people that there are likelihoods that this would happen and it would alter our course of development?
Linda, during the leadership, as we continue, we are with our people. We are talking to them. We are explaining to them where we are getting some obstacles. And like now, today, I just came from my ward, whereby we are discussing of some bridges, drifts we are trying to do, and some of the grading of our roads. But due to the experience, to the problem of we are experiencing as a country of COVID-19, we are trying to work together, talk to them, and explain to them that we are not unable to attain this. But I'm going to try my best so that I can be able to talk to the governor to implement ABC. And the leader, you see, when you are with people, you always have easy time, because they know today we have attained to bring this, and tomorrow we will bring the Z factor. But when you get lost, you don't interact, and you don't interact with your people. You were elected, and then you just disappeared, and then you are waiting and come back again when there is 1 year to election. That's where now we lose it. But as we work together with our people, they know that even in everybody's home there is those problems. Maybe they have not been able to attain even their 100%. But the same applies to the government. Linda, when the government of Uhuru Kenyatta came to power, 2013, they had promised a lot of hopes to the people of Kenya. These are laptops of our class 1 kids. Up to today, that has never been attained. But they tried to attain somewhere whereby there are some schools which attain, but not 100%. Same applies even to the county government. Same applies to each and every Linda. So what I can be able to say is that as a Kiva representative, I'm going to talk to the governor. I'm going to do my best and make sure that a lot has been attained before the end of my first tenure. All
right. And speaking of which, after the first one, definitely we probably would expect you to go back to your people, telling them that, you know what, I was expecting to achieve this, I was not able to achieve this. Please allow me more time so I'd be able to realize this for you. Before that, I mean, the key thing then would be, the question is that you mentioned COVID-19 and the destruction that it comes along with, and how much it has altered the activities. If one were to tell you to highlight some of the key things that have been affected with COVID, with the coming of COVID-19 right now, the projects that you had, the plans that you had at this point, for your ward, pinpoint them. So moving forward, we're able to account and say that, yes, he would probably require this more time, so he will be able to, realize this.
Linda, it's just normal projects which have been actually been cancelled, and we have not been able to continue and implement fully. And what I can be able to say is we had planned that to do the planting of trees. Like in my ward, I had promised 1 million trees. By the time the COVID-19 struck us, I had done around 3,000 trees in my ward, in schools, in our churches, in our markets, along the riverbanks. We had already started doing those plantation of the trees, but it stopped because we could. Now we were doing as a community. Now you remember when the COVID-19 struck us, that the MOH directive and O directive was that you cannot be able to meet more than 5 people. So you realize that everybody had to isolate him or herself at home, and schools were closed, no churches anymore. A lot of things stalled, and people lost their jobs. And also some of the donors I had already engaged, like there is a donor which I had engaged from Canada. They were to come and do those solar powering so that our people can get power. So you realize that when the COVID-19 struck the world, we could not continue. We could not engage. The flights could not fly back to Kenya. So you realize that we have those difficulties, which is we are experiencing everywhere. Not even Kivaa ward, the entire Machakos, the 47 counties. We are getting those difficulties. Thereby, we cannot be able to achieve 100%. I told you the budget, the Machakos budget for 2019-2020. We only implemented very little, and then by the time we are finalizing, then the COVID-19 visited us, the country, and we stopped everywhere. Now we have passed another budget. Now we are trying to look to see whether this fire can cease, and then we can continue with our development. But some of those, some of the development I promised to my people, I've tried to explain, and I will try to attain. Although I'm not going to be able to attain 100%. That is the issue.
All right, and you brought on board the aspect of Machakos County at large. Brings me to this point. I remember the other time there were still conversations surrounding the pending bills, which is actually still an issue as it stands right now. Contractors and suppliers have not been paid their dues for years. And, at some point I had the governor here who said that, some of these contractors actually are, demanding for money, yet they were not able to achieve what it is that they were supposed to do. I mean, when you see them coming out to demand, it's because they probably genuinely feel like they are supposed to be paid these dues. What are you doing as the county assembly towards ensuring that this is addressed? Because it is getting, to that point where it's going to be perennial. And it's unfair because you realize that these are some of the people who are within your counties, are within, your wards. These are your ward members that have taken up these tenders, yet they're not able to achieve or, realize their payments.
Linda, thank you so much. I'm a member of Finance Committee in Machakos County Assembly. Yes. And we have been, for the last 4 months, we have been working on the pending bills. And I'm telling you that, Linda, within the last 4 months, His Excellency Governor Mutua has been able to pay over 700 million of pending bills. Whatever is remaining, by the time now we read the report just last Tuesday, that's the time we read the report of the pending bills. We are remaining with less than 100 million pending bills, whereby we have again allocated for this current budget, and within the next 2 months, we will be zero pending bills in Machakos. That one, I must attest to that.
All right, and speaking of which, then we'd want to ask, the task battles that have been there, have they been fixed? And how fair are the grounds right now for people to do business?
You see, when I tackle on the same pending bills, I must say that, there are those contractors who were given job, let's say 2014, 2013, but they could not deliver. Yeah, those who could not deliver the project, those ones, that's where you had that we are having a problem. But if you work in Machakos and you deliver 100%, you get certificates from the engineers. Yeah. There's no shortcut, you get your money paid. So, Linda, even now, we also have several categories. We have the universal health coverage, whereby it deals with the health facilities. We have KRBs, and then we have the county now budget. And we have the COSIP, those municipalities. Those budgets are being implemented, and the contractors are delivering their work, and they are being paid 100%. We don't have a problem with that. Yes.
All right. It's obvious then that the governor's blueprint and generally Machakos' blueprint, is that one of propelling Machakos from the third world to the first world. That was key during the campaigns of the governor. That was key during the campaigns of numerous of leaders at the level of Machakos. How are you positioning Kiva to ensure that they be part of the same?
You see, as a Kiva representative, Linda, I always make sure that I'm in the front line when I'm trying to earn development for my people. And His Excellency is aware, and if you go in his inbox, it's full of requests, whereby I need this and this. Like the other day now, I requested that we need those market shades for Mama Bogas. And I went direct to His Excellency, the governor, and then he promised that Now, once we pass the budget, we'll come and sit down with the entire assembly and try to divide developments as per each ward, 40 wards. Each ward has to be allocated certain amount of money. Of course, the governor also has those big projects. You understand that it's only in Machakos whereby we have done the tarmac roads. We have the Mwala to Kidimani Road, which has been tarmacked. We have Kivandeni to Masinga, we have tarmacked. And we also have other small short roads which are being tarmacked. Those are big projects which His Excellency the Governor is doing, and we must appreciate that. But with the little budget we are doing, I'm working my day and night to make sure that whatever we get, whatever we can get, the budget we have, there is a share for my Kiva people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right, you spoke about water, and there's been numerous water programs, billions for that matter, towards ensuring that there's connection of piped water, and that aspect of Maendeleo Mashinani, and reports of at some point in time the county government, coming out to drill numerous incomplete boreholes for that matter, which have not benefited the community. Yet so much money has been synced into that. How are the MCAs addressing this, number one, and how are you coming in to ensure that this is also extensively available for your very own ward?
Linda, what we are doing is we are making sure that, for example, we have those old balls which has not been functioning. What we are doing, we are rehabilitating those old balls. The other thing we are doing, we are also digging new balls. What we are trying to do is to make sure our geologicals, they make sure that they go and assess exactly where the water is.
Right.
Actually, in Machakos, we have not been doing those dry balls, whereby you just bring the rig and then start vibrating, and then at the end of the day, you don't get water. No, in Machakos, we have professionals. Our geologicals are very professionals, and they must, before we start drilling new balls, we have to make sure that we have done proper survey and we have water. Mm-hmm. And in Machakos, I must say that we have done over 400 balls. Like in my ward, I can say that I have more than, although some I'm also rehabilitating, but I have more than 10 balls which are functionable. And those 10 balls, I want to do another 10 for the remaining term. If all allows, everything I'm sure will be 100%.
What do you suppose could have caused this slow pickup on matters water for the people of Machakos? Because this has been discussed, has been talked about for the longest of time. And for as late as early this year somewhere, some point in time, also, like I said, when I hosted the governor, we're still talking about the aspect of water. And, we're talking about, lack of water in areas, within Machakos County. Areas like Athi River, areas like, say Kiteng'U. These are areas that are almost connected to the CBD, almost connected to Nairobi and all that. So if such areas are not able to get clean water, are not able to have access to water, what does it mean for areas that are, in the deep rural areas of Machakos County?
Linda, the devolution when you vended the other day, and that is 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And Kiteng'U, most of people who work in Nairobi at the CBD, they live in Kiteng'U, others live in the river, and you realize the population is too high. In the river, we have enough water. Where the problem is, we have dug the balls, but we have the Tana at the water, which is, and also the Nairobi water has been also distributed all the way to the river. But in terms of Machakos, we are working hard to make sure that each and every, less than, 500 meters? That was the governor's idea, that within the 500 meters, we have enough water for the community of the river, the community of the Kiteng'U, for the people of Mavoko, so that we have enough water. But you realize that we also get advised by the professional that the balls are not we cannot be able to dig the balls each and everywhere. So we must make sure that we follow the right procedures of the NEMA, so that if they tell us that between this ball and the other one, you need a span of 600 meters, then we must follow that. But due to the population, you realize that now we are still trying to get defeated because the population is increasing day by day. But what I can assure you is actually the governor is doing the best to make sure that each and every person of Machakos County gets enough water.
Residents say that a lack of close supervision and lethargic approach to development issues or projects by county officials has contributed to shoddy work that has been experienced. Shoddy work on matters water, shoddy work on matters roads, what we'll be discussing after this break. I mean, what would be your guarantee to them tonight that you will be involved, that as MCAs you'll be greatly involved towards ensuring that next they do not get shoddy work, that again, will end up wasting so much money of the taxpayer, yet they're not able to realize the developments?
Linda, the political temperature is the one which brings all this vandalization. What I can assure you is we always deliver and make sure that we have given the standard. But at the end of the day, Governor has this initiative of giving free water to the people of Machakos, whereby if you have given the free water, you have given our security who is guarding the project. But then at the end of the day, you realize that there are some people who are coming at night and try to vandalize government projects. What I could tell them is if you belong to Machakos or you live in Machakos and you have realized that next to you there is account projects, please be the supervisor of that project and make sure that you man that project, because it will only help you, but it's not good. If you allow it to be vandalized, then you realize that at the end of the day, we will be told that we are doing a shoddy job, Machakos is not delivering, but there are some of the people who are, some of us who are trying to vandalize our projects. So once the government has done a project, it's upon the Manaites to note that it's your project and you must make sure that you manage and make sure it's well protected.
Yes, Pledge tonight is focusing on the promises that were given to the people of Kivaa ward in Machakos County. We welcome you to interact with us or ask Mheshimiwa any questions that you would have for him. Hashtag Pledge Watch. Let's get to hear what you have to say at Linda_Lela at TV47KE. And we'll get to ask Mheshimiwa some of these crucial questions in regards to development at his respective ward. We're taking a short break and we're coming back with much more where we get to discuss the aspect of roads. We take a look at education, health, agriculture, and most importantly, the Ukambani politics. in Machakos County, Masinga constituency, as we take a look at the devolution of progress and matters development at this particular ward. And with me still is Honorable Justus Kiteng'U, who's the member of the County Assembly in Kivaa ward, Machakos. Mheshimiwa, we're coming back to you on the issue of roads. I know you touched on the roads that are being, recarpeted as it stands right now. The issue again in Machakos County in regards to, how sustainable these projects are, how legit these projects are, has been an issue that is a bone of contention. I think coming out from that point whereby the residents are complaining that there's lack of proper supervision. What again is the guarantee that the roads that are being recarpeted right now are going to be, roads that are worth, roads that are good, roads that are in the best of shape, roads that are going to be durable? We're not able to get Mheshimiwa very well. I guess there's a bit of sound. Mheshimiwa, did you unmute? Did you mute? Now we are able to get you. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
On my side. What I'm saying is, like those roads which we are tarmacking, and exactly the governor is doing the tarmacking, is that we are deploying our county engineers, whereby they are making sure that they are doing proper supervisions and proper layment of the bitumens, and all that has been done to the provisional level.
Right.
And the other things we are doing is on the grading, Linda. The county government realizes that they have very little amount of money. What they can be able to do is grading and marraming. But whatever we are doing in terms of tarmacking, we are doing our best. And I'm going to give you an example, like Kivandene, Mwala to Kilimani Road. That road was tarmacked back 2013. And up to today, I passed there today, apart from those view portals which appear to happen because of the rains and the heavy trucks. And the county government is doing is trying to manage them. It's a normal roads like the other one. Then when it comes to link roads, whereby we have to do the grinding and marraming, we must make sure we are making sure that we are doing the thorough marraming and thorough grinding. And apart from when it rains heavily, you realize that road has been washed away. And once the road goes, then we continue our normal grinding of count. So what we are doing is to make sure, although my ward is big, Machakos County is big, we may not be able to attain 100%, but with continuation of the government, the national government, KRB, and the Department of the Roads and all that in Machakos County, we are going to make sure that we have tried to manage and to reach each and every Mwananchi, so that we can be able to have proper communication when it comes to schools, our health facilities, and linking from one village to another. That's what we are trying to open. And with the water we are trying to do in the county, we are trying to improvise our community also, those small scale farmers, to continue and be their own boss and deploy themselves and make sure that they don't buy the Sukuma Wiki. They just use the water we have provided as a county, and make sure that they plant the Sukuma Wiki and those bokas to use locally. So we are having a big dream to people of Machakos, Linda.
All right, and speaking of water, now that we know very well that sometimes, the rains cause lots of destruction, it's important that we also know what are the long-term plans towards ensuring that, we have proper water catchment areas, we have, ways of tapping or ways of harvesting this water, ways of ensuring that this water does not come in to cause destruction. We know very well that roads are impassable when it rains. Floods, carry away structures, rendering people homeless. I mean, what are the long-term solutions towards addressing this?
Linda, as a community, is whereby the community has to team up together with the government and make sure that they tap the water at their best. We have this initiative we came up with, quarter acre irrigation, whereby that the governor had given out this idea whereby you can, each and every home has got the 10 meter by 10 meter dam, whereby we could also give them those the agriculture department is trying to help and educate them so that each and every home has got its own dam, whereby they can be able to do that small scale farming. They can be able to plant their own boga, they can be able to plant onions and all that. And that is the initiative the Department of Agriculture is doing in Machakos, so that each and every home has got one dam. You don't have to share. but you have that 10 by 10. That it's the initiative is called quarter acre irrigation, and it's happening in Machakos, whereby when it comes to other bigger dams, like the one I'm doing in my ward in somewhere called Miangeni, I've told you that I'm doing a mega dam whereby it can be able to attain 250 million cubic liters of water, whereby that water can be able to be used in my entire one sub-location, and if we go to phase 2, we will be able to distribute the entire Kivaa ward. Not forgetting, leader, also Ambodi, Kidaruma Dam, Masinga Dam, and Kidaruma Dam, whereby also we are using the same water and do our irrigation, whereby when the rains and it's not enough, we can be able to irrigate our plants and make sure that our people got enough food. Leader, I must attest to that also we have a problem with some of our Machakos areas are semi-arid, whereby it's almost a desert, and when it rains, the water actually doesn't hold even for more than 3 days.
Right.
So you realize that of that, the area has already also attains its original dryness area. So, leader, what we are doing, we are trying to work together with our community, our people, and try to bring energy and knowledge together so that we can tame a lot of water as much as we can.
Locust invasion was witnessed in your ward. How much of damage was done, and how are you planning to recover from that, or how are you recovering from that now that you sensitize people to plant, and then the locusts decide to come and do terrible stuff on the plants or the plantation? What has been done so far towards recovering the damage or addressing the damage?
Leader, we were struck twice by locusts, and there's an area called Masako, NDC, and some part of Kwachumbo and the lower part of my ward. And the damage, the only thing is, Linda, on the locust, because when they landed first, I had to make sure that I've spoken to the government spokesperson, Mr. Ongunda, and he tried to send me those the chemicals and all that, and we tried to make sure that we have fumigated those locusts, and my people also, I tried to mobilize my people. We are vigilant. We could not allow them land, although they caused very little damage, and we are working with our county department whereby we can be able to make sure that we help those who were striked and return them to their original fashion. Leader, the locust caused a slight damage in my ward, although there are some areas where they striked a lot, but legally speaking, in my ward, it was very slight damage we experienced. But I must thank the county government and the national government. They really responded and they helped us, and we managed to chase them away.
Refurbishing of county facilities or hospitals for that matter is ongoing or is in high gear across different parts of the country. Kivaa Level 3 Hospital, what is the state right now? I made complaints some times back that probably it was in the best of shape in terms of a facility to handle the health issues in Kivaa ward and Machakos at large.
Linda, Kivaa Ward Level 3 Hospital is a Level 3 facility, and we are trying to implement it to communal hospital. And it's within a border of Embu County and Machakos County. And we always try to treat as many patients Machakos, but you realize that sometimes we are being defeated because even the Embu County patients also come for treatment in Kivaa Level 3. Even Kiteng'U Level 3, we use Kitui County and Machakos County. So what we are doing, I spoke to the governor the other day. We ended up meeting at Yata, and we tried to discuss at lunch how we can be able to improve those facilities within the border. Because, for example, we are giving a budget to that Level 3. A certain budget just for the people of Kiva, but we cannot treat the people of Kiva only. You realize that even we are getting patients from different counties, and we cannot chase them away. So what we need to do is just to bring our knowledge together. We try to talk and try to see how we can be able to improve those facilities. But as we speak now, Linda, my people are getting the best and the proper treatment in that. Not forget that we are having some challenges of the medicine because of we are receiving more patients than what we can be able to deliver. But we are working out so that we can make sure that when next time we have enough stock and we can be able to control even up to 200 patients a day.
Mm-hmm. All right, we know very well. I remember that scenario, and I know you were alive to that, where a man lost his life, and numerous others, untold stories because of a snake bite. And we know that this is very common in Machakos County, yet we still do not have venom, in stock to address some of these issues. I hope this is being addressed at some point in time. I remember you speaking confidently and, condemning the fact that we could not access, or you could not access anti-venom serum in this particular hospital. Has this been addressed so far?
Linda, so far it has been addressed, and also I must thank Kengen. Kengen is an institution whereby also they offer us with the venom, and the county government has tried their best just to give those venom to all our facilities in our county. Although it's not enough, but we are getting some donors who are also helping us out of that outcry. That's why we started getting some donors, and you realize that we are having some venom, but the snake bites are not all the time. But what we have is we are trying to control the scenario.
All right, I would have wanted us to speak on matters education and some bit of how you're dealing with COVID-19, but not before you weigh in on the politics of Ukambani region so far. As elusive as, the politics in different regions in the country.
Linda, with this issue of the COVID-19, the political temperature, although you can still feel it and you can hear it from far, but it has actually gone down, and you realize that His Excellency the President doesn't want to hear about any political divisions in the country. What he needs to hear is that people are taking care of themselves, and you heard his statement today that he doesn't want to hear of any political divisions. For now, let's fight COVID-19. Let's each and everybody take care of himself. We have even been put in sports. That's bad. Even the Mweshimiwa, you cannot, even if you get late at Kiva and you have to travel all the way to Nairobi to Machakos, and the curfew have hit you on the way, then you cannot do anything. You have to stop and maybe fight somewhere, and then it lasts until you continue the following day. Nobody is going to be spared. So
how genuine is that? Remember, the very same time, when we're talking about the measures that were put on board, the Jubilee purge has been ongoing. At this particular time, the president himself has been calling upon, members of his party for meetings and all that. And we've seen mergers at this particular time now. Wiper joining, Jubilee Party, Kanu coming in to join Jubilee Party. All this at this time of COVID-19. What makes you think that there's going to be change of activities?
Linda, I'm a member of Wiper Democratic Party, and actually in Machakos, I'm a deputy majority leader.
Yes. And
we gave out that authority to our party leader to go and negotiate with His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, so that what we need is we as in Kamba, we have been in opposition for the last 10 years, and either finding that we cannot be able to get proper developments. So what we need is we advised our party leader that what we need him to do is to make sure that he gets closer to the government, so that his people can be able to benefit from what is there.
His interest is not to get closer to the government, because he's been there. His interest is getting to the top note, or the top bit, or the top seat for that matter.
Linda, in anywhere, politics is a game of interest. All right. I cannot deny my party leader being close to His Excellency. I cannot deny my party leader to be given the top seat in the next election. I cannot deny my party leader to being given the second seat, or maybe number 3 or number 4. What we need is to make sure that we are the part and parcel of whereby of constituting the next government, and that's what we advise our party leader. And we are happy with whatever he's doing, and we cannot deny. And what we need is to unite the entire Kamba nation, and to get united also with all the way from Western and again the Central Province, also in Nyanza, so that we can be one country. When it comes, if we have one bucket, the one bucket can be divided in several areas, whereby we don't only hear the developments being happening in the central province and some other parts, and whereby some other part of the country are being sidelined. So what we want, and as a deputy majority leader of Machakos County, and I've been attending several meetings. What we need is a unity so that we can be able to attain developments. You see, when you remember the time of there was this time whereby there was resist. The time of resist, the country could not move because I was in the side of the opposition. I was resisting even to buy a credit was available. We could sideline one product, and you realize even His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta cannot be able to implement any projects. So the political fights, that one stalls developments 100%, leader.
All right. Well, thank you so much. In a minute, address the people of Kivaa ward as we wind up. In a minute.
Yeah, thank you, Linda. What I can be able to say is just to insist that the people of Kivaa should know that we are doing our best as a county, and we'll make sure that even if not 100%, but we will reach somewhere before we will be past pass mark by the end of my first term. And what I could like to tell them is that they must take care. They must know that COVID-19 is real. They must wash hands. They must make sure they sanitize. They must keep distance, and they must follow government precautions. Our parents must know that now our school children, they are on their hands. Still, we have not seen any signal of going back to school and soon. So what we need is to make sure that they put their kids in task, and they must make sure that their kids are busy and taking care of girl child, boy child, and making sure they are there with the curfew time, and make sure you are busy in your chambers and attain. And at the end of the day, we pray to God that this COVID-19 ceases, because actually it's real and it's there. We are losing our people, and we are just praying that it doesn't strike like the way we have seen striking Western countries.
All right. Honorable Justus Kiteng'U, MCA Kivaa Ward, Machakos County. We'll be coming back to you some other time to just find out whether indeed some of the promises that you've also made right here on Pledge Watch have been achieved. It was great having you this evening. And equally, thank you so much for your feedback, which we won't be able to go through because of the interest of time. Guess what? Your next political show is coming on board, or your favorite political show is coming on board next. The Pundits with Abubakar Abdullahi. Indeed, a show that you do not want to miss out on. Also, as he updates you on what is happening in the world of news. So keep it right here. This is some of the stories that we have prepared for you as I get to wind up. My name is Linda Alela. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing.